You said you don't want to be remembered for going back in the back of the paddy wagon, so to speak.
That's on my school years. That's what I remembered at school. No.
Tell us then, obviously you've signed this deal with Challenge. What does that mean for you, and what does that mean commitment-wise in terms of, are you then able to qualify for Kona still? How will it work?
Yeah, well, there's no exclusivity with Challenge, and that was the great thing about the deal. And they were very, very open. I sat down with them earlier in the year, and we were talking about, where this sport's going. Because for me, I've been here for 20 years, and and you look at the big business that triathlon's become, and you really look at the product at the end of the day. Is it getting better? Is it getting stronger? Just because participation's growing, is the actual product getting better? And I really looked at Challenge. They seem to be developing a product that's phenomenal. They really stayed in line with the passion of the sport, which is what's always driven me. And we sat down, and I said, I want to work with you guys. Like, I really believe in what you're doing. I think you're sticking to the history, which needs to be embraced. And we worked out a partnership that was beneficial for myself, beneficial for me beyond my racing career, and allowed me to have a lot of input at a level that I'd never had before. And Ironman just didn't give me that option. Now, does it mean I don't love Ironman? No way. Ironman is all I've ever chased. And that was the great thing with Challenge. They did not say, well, it's us or them, which I felt Ironman wanted to do. And I think that's a brave company that says that. They understand what our sport is. They're basically saying to myself and to everybody who races their events, go and race any event you want. We want you to embrace the sport, and we're confident enough in our events that you'll come and taste our races and you'll continue to do them. And we understand that Ironman is still the pinnacle of multi-sport racing. So for me, I sit down with them every year and we plan out what events I want to be at, and where I can be most beneficial to them. They're setting up new races around the world. I do a lot of that with them, looking at courses. But for me, going back to Kona, do I think I can win Kona again? You always got to go in thinking you can win Kona again. And for me, I want to go back for myself personally. And I thought this year would be my last year. And I thought I could win, but I would have been content with 4th or 6th or 5th if it was the best I could give. And after 2010, I swore I wouldn't go back, but I wanted to go back one more time in a different mindset, just a personal race for myself, and I didn't get that this year. So I've already spoken to Zibby and Felix and the guys at Challenge, and they're very, very supportive of that. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I think it's great to have competition in any sport. It's great to be driven, and I think Challenge is doing the right thing there.
Talk about then how Ironman have responded to your move to Challenge, because from the outside looking in and from an outsider's position, it seems that they're unhappy, but from a sport perspective, it's one of the best things that's happened to the sport.
Well, they weren't over the moon with it, and the irony for me was that I must have sat in meetings for the last 2 years with Ironman saying, hey, and where are we at? Like, I understand where I'm at, and I understand my racing career, but I don't want to just walk away when I've stopped winning races. I love this sport. My kids have grown up in this sport. I've grown up in this sport. Where are we at? And the doors just continued to close, or there was always a carrot of hope held in front of you, and a little bit to some degree, and again, I love Ironman racing, but a little bit from the professional side, a little bit of arrogance that we are triathlon, and if you don't do Ironman, you're nothing. We create you, and I've actually had that told to me by a few of the powers to be in Ironman, and I just, it hasn't been warmly received. I've been shut out a lot of things that made life difficult for me, which, they own the product, and I got my first penalty last week in an event, which put me off the winner's podium. But you can jump up and talk and say, oh, I'm being targeted. Am I? Only they know that. I just continue to do what I do, and continue to race and continue to just support the people who do it, because at the end of the day, this is a professional side. The majority of people who are racing are amateurs. They love it. They love Challenge. They love Ironman. They love setting goals and targets, and the platforms that these two companies lay down allow us to do that. So I don't want to get caught up in the headaches of it all, and I just think Ironman can do a better job. I know they can do a better job, but when you're owned by a hedge fund, you're in it for different reasons.
Exactly. Now, there's a pretty big race on Sunday.
Yeah.
The Noosa Triathlon, if you haven't heard of it.
It's the biggest race in the country.
Chris Gamble said that in the press conferences before the race, that the short course guys have got an honour to protect with you long course fellas coming back and racing at the Olympic distance. Yeah, are you guys out to beat each other, or is there any tension when you come back and race the short course guys, or how do you find yourself moving into this race?
It's funny, I look at this, to me personally, I look at this race as the most important short course title in Australia. There is nothing more important than this title. I look at the start list, I think, man, where are all the short course stars of this country? And I think, man, you know, I know you do draft legal racing, but this is it. Televised, the biggest sponsors in the game, the biggest race, and I sit there scratching my head thinking, what are you thinking? Like, and it seems like the Ironman guys, or the short course guys who do come here, are semi-professional enough to realise that. And you know, we know, you know, the Gemmels and the Courtney Atkinsons and the young brigade, the Josh Hamburgers and that. These guys are super talented. Can we be competitive? I think so. But at the end of the day, they know they have to beat us. We're sort of in that nice phase where if we win, great. If we don't win, it's great as well. But I just shake my head. I knew growing up for myself how important this title was, and I just think sometimes, wow, you know, I just can't believe, you know, the focus that a lot of our guys don't put on this event.
It seems a shame that, yeah, you've mentioned, you know, we don't have guys like Brad Carterfelt, we don't have Aaron Royal here, we don't have Brendan Sexton. They've obviously had long seasons in the ITU, and but like everyone else has had a long season.
I'm pretty sure I did that ITU circuit. I haven't had a rest for 2 years, but at the end of the day, obviously there's a you know, I sit down with a lot of these guys and they're like, geez, Mackie, you've done well out of the sport. We're the coaches and that. And I said, guys, there's a professional side of triathlon. That's why we're called pros. Otherwise, you're an elite. You know, and I guess the ITU call them elites. And they truly are elites. Ironman athletes are professionals because there is truly a huge difference. And it's about the complete package. It's about understanding this synergy, these partnerships with people like Specialized, how that works within races, and how you as an entity, as an athlete, can leverage that for yourself and ultimately make a true living out of the game. And I just don't think the ITU athletes, whether there's nobody in there to teach them how to do that, or they understand that there is more than just race winning, and there is about supporting the community that does this sport, because they are the people that pay your bills. And you really need to come here and embrace that. And Courtney Atkinson has realised that. He's been very, very dominant here. And we're still celebrating athletes like Craig Walton, whose last win here was 2005. You know, and the reason these guys are like, oh, Craig Walton, he's ancient. I'm like, we remember him, mate, because he won the races that mattered, you know. And I just sometimes I wonder if these coaches here they mollycoddle and protect these athletes, and, you know, it's not always about winning. It really isn't. It's about putting your head on the chopping board, teaching yourself how to win and lose, and you know, showing yourself to a community who doesn't really know you, being accessible to many of these people, and getting around here and rubbing shoulders with the companies who support the sport, because if they go, so does the sport.
Well, Chris, it's been another informative and honest discussion as always. We thank you very much for talking to firstoffthebike.com, and best of luck on Sunday, mate.
Cheers. No worries.